the U.S. is such an important market for you. What would you do? Do you have a contingency plan in place if there were a border tax?
Well, that's obviously a subject that creates some energy in our brains, but I think there's lots of discussion at the moment, very different versions, and let's wait and see more cards, and then we'll make our plan, how we react to that. Generally speaking, Porsche believes in fair and free trade, of course.
You've had, I think, 5 or 6 years in a row of record sales. You continue to climb with the growth of the Macan, the growth of the Cayenne, the Panamera, and you're standing in front of a new 4-door wagon version of the Panamera, which I know David Weston loves. Can you continue that run? Will you have a 7th record sales?
Well, we certainly hope so, but it's not all about volume with Porsche. We want to make our customers happy. Now, you refer to the wagon, which certainly is an experiment for the United States. Now, Porsche doesn't offer any cars in Europe we don't get in the United States, which is good. But if you look at the share of wagons in the United States, that's somewhat underdeveloped, so maybe we can add to that.
True car lovers know that a wagon is always the right choice, so maybe you can sway the U.S. market. What do you expect for European growth? I mean, we've had a real pickup here. Is it going to continue to be a strong market, or is it peaking, maybe like a lot of people have said is the case in the U.S.?
We see a plateau in Europe, of course, at the moment, possibly happening this year, next year. So we can't expect growth for more than 6, 7, or 8 years, of course. But let's wait and see. I mean, the economy is solid, it's robust. We have the right products, of course, lined up with the GTS, the 911, now the GT3 that you see behind me, now the whole variants that we have in place with the Panamera. With a wagon, of course, that's important, designed for the European customers. So we are actually rather confident that we can still be very happy.
The one market we've left out, and I know you're running the U.S., the North American market, but you can still talk about China after the reduction in their GDP outlook. Is that a problem, or does Porsche continue to grow? It's your strongest market.
In terms of volume, it's the most important market for Porsche. Again, if you have the right products, you can outgrow the average growth or the average sales numbers in any country. Now, we have a solid sales organization in place in China, and we can also be rather confident over there.
Let me ask you about new product to come, not just the new product that's here. You have your own test track in Atlanta. Have you run any electric 911s on it?
Of course, I have to say no, but you know that we are working on bringing out a battery electric vehicle, which will have DNA Porsche by the end of this decade. So obviously the phase has started where this car is being tested also physically, but don't worry, not in Atlanta. There are far too many nosy customers and journalists.
What about autonomous cars? I mean, Porsche is really a driver's car, a driver's product, but do you think that your customers are going to want the car to drive them once in a while?
Porsche is all about meeting or exceeding customers' expectations. And our feeling is that Porsche customers will want a steering wheel, and they want to be engaged in driving a sports car, be it 4-door or 2 doors, but they will also want that button that takes them home. So we will have to also bring a solution for autonomous driving.
I got to ask you, bring it back to politics real quick, because you do have such a big presence in the U.S. The president signed an executive order yesterday, a second version of the travel ban. Does this affect any of your employees, or are you concerned about any of your employees' welfare?
We're not concerned. I mean, this is regulation that your administration, our administration in the States has now put in place for their reasons, and we have to accept that. So far, there is no bad impact on us as Porsche Cars North America.
And in Porsche North America, you continue to see growth this year. What is the long-term outlook for Porsche? I mean, you sell, what, a little under 200,000 cars?
It's a little bit over 200,000 cars, 238,000 in globally. And last year in the United States, we sold close to 55,000 cars.
So what's the long-term outlook? Where do you want to go? Do you have to cut it off at some point because of exclusivity?
Well, I don't believe in numbers being an indication for exclusive or not, but if you want a number, out of 1,000 cars in America sold new per year, 3 are Porsches currently with our current sales number. So if you imagine that parking lot with 1,000 cars, 3 of those being Porsche, I still think that we can call ourselves exclusive.